Hey guys, me Dakota here. I think that's a good volume. I'm redoing a video that I posted an hour ago as of recording because I did not feel like it met the criteria I felt like it should, especially since it was 40 minutes long and I rambled a lot. This time I'm going to condense it down and get through some points quickly. First off, hi, I'm Dakota. This video is how I would improve stats. This goes from my how I would improve series, and hopefully a lot of people see this, or not. Who knows? Any case, what's a stat? Well, a stat isn't the things down here, really. The stats that I'm talking about are the ones that are like on the chows. XP ring, the step icon, and like magnet. Well, some have luck, some have bubble, some have, I don't think I have a stamina. Are you stamina? You're magnet. Some characters have stamina or specific abilities for characters. Now that we got that out of the way, that's what a base character like stuff is. But this is how I would improve it, and to get this point over with, I'm gonna keep this guy in the background. But I will turn down the volume for you guys. So we're gonna go full screen for this. We're gonna be using the post Sonic Shock era because that's the current era we're in. I don't think any big changes has happened since then, but I will be going through mostly everything up to event. Then I'll cover speed and where is it? Race. So these three are fine. Damage, rings, and XP. They fit what they fit. Of course, all your characters are going to have an XP ring and damage like percent multiplier. So of course you're going to get like at a max level, if something's specified, like let's say there's a character that's specifically for rings. I think like let's use a Tails for example, since they use Tails a lot here. A Tails that are specified for rings, ring gain will be like 150 percentage at 6 stars. XP will be 150%, damage will be 150%, all if they're in the specified things. If they're not, I think it's like 100, something like that. But in any case, I think these stats are good as they are. The only things I have to comment on is that they need more higher XP, more higher rings, and more higher damage, like chows. The chows and fast friends. Fast friends goes off your best chow rates or friend rates. They don't take trails into account, but the friends have kind of fallen uh, low for what they are. The best XP um, friend currently is the Metal Sonic 3.0 Omochow, which has 2.7 million XP fused, which means you need to get 5 of those rare chows fused. Yeah, that's the best one. Second best, I can't remember, but I want to say it's Jet. I think it's the Jet Chow that you can get. But that's only like 600k, so it drops down drastically. Rings, the highest ring one is the Moonstone Chow, which is 355,000 rings, which is a lot. I'll give them that. But the problem is that, well, that's the highest. While these two have millions, you can't get millions for this. And this is a million just because of the fact that it has the U-Chow. A fused U-Chow can give you 9 million damage, which is great, especially if you have your fast friends. They'll take 9 million damage. The problem is that you can't get a U-Chow right now, and the second best is the Cocos, which have 37,000 damage for the fused stat. That is the second best friend. So for these three, I think they need to get like bring back the high experience, high damage fast friends, or just introduce new high experience. I say bring back the damage, but keep the U chows or the U friends as permanent, and give us a chow friend, whatever you want to say, that actually gives us in the millions of rings. Next thing I'm going to talk about is Magnet. Magnet is good from how it is right now. I just wish they specified, like, in the hints and stuff, what does it mean? So, I don't know. I don't know what, like, how am I supposed to know what plus 12 Magnet will mean range-wise? Uh, I think Magnet is good as it is. I said that in my previous video, and I still stand by that. The difference comes in stamina. Stamina lowers stamina consumption for spin, dash, and boost, and grants longer flight for super skins. Now, the things I would change about this are before I had two things, kind of two things. One of the things come back to stamina consumption. Now I have three things. The original two was make lower stamina consumption work with. I don't know if it does fully work, but make it so that when you burst with a mount like a bike or a hoverboard, it does less like percentage boost, you know? You don't have to use as much boost to boost, if that makes sense. You don't have to use as much stamina to boost on a hoverboard. I think it is like that in the game, but it's kind of hard to tell just because it looks like it takes like a percentage base. Second thing I would change, let the stamina stat give you more stamina. So that when you're boosting on a hoverboard or you're flying and stuff, you actually do have more stamina and not just less stamina drain. That way, when you're going into an event that gets rid of the stamina consumption stat, you can at least have more stamina in total. The third thing that I thought of recently, and I do confirm it's not on here, is characters that use abilities that require stamina. The stamina stat should make it so that it lowers the consumption rate of what using that ability does. Because right here it just says spin dash and boost. When I'm playing silver, I want my little like kinetic bombs and stuff to do less stamina, less energy. I think also I just thought of another thing. Stamina would be good if it reduced the rate at which super goes down. That or you can add a new stat called like super stamina. You know, I feel like that would be a good incentive for people to get these like to get stamina, you know. But don't worry, that's not the only big overhaul I suggest. Also, I guess it would like the two overhauls I talk about are the competitor to Magnet, and it would just kind of make Magnet kind of bad compared to get like you'd rather want to get a stamina and luck like fast friends and stuff. So I feel like Magnet could be where if you get more Magnet, it gives you more plus, like you get more things from having Magnet stats, but I'm not too sure on that. You know, Magnet I feel is good as it is. It's just stamina for it being called stamina, you'd think it would do more. So, as a recap, for stamina consumption, I say that let it work on boosting with boards, like make it do less percentage taken away. Um, it grants longer flights for super skins. That's good. But I also feel like it should just give you more stamina. It should reduce the amount used for abilities with the Q button. And I think it should allow for longer times of having the super skin, like having a super bar. Make this deplete at a slower rate at least. Or just give us more time in general. I think that'd be great with stamina. But I can see why they would not do that last one, because then everyone would be in super skins all the time. Going down here, luck. Luck really needs a change. My dogs are working. Okay, I'm back. Don't know what that was for. We talked about stamina, how I said about the different things where it can, you know, lower consumption for spin dash boost, and also when you boost on a hoverboard, do less percentage on that. Grants flight longer for super skins, but also it could extend super meter. Either extend it by time wise or just less consumption. I guess it's the same thing. Make sure that it leads to less consumption on Q attacks or Q abilities. And then also just more stamina in general. So that was just a little recap, just for me, basically. We're going on to luck. Luck is the most disappointing because that's the one I focused in whenever I first got on the game. Increased odds at friend machines. That's it. So my version of luck would be different. Keep this in here, but also, I don't think you'll see it here, but I'll exit this to show my example. Make it so that if you have, like, the more luck you have, the more likely you can evolve something at a certain rate. Like, you know, make it so that if I'm upgrading from a 2-star to a 3-star, make it so that, I can do 5 fast friends. But with a certain amount of luck, like, if I have some luck, I could get, like, here or something. They don't need to make it a large amount, but still, luck would be better to help people get an extra percentage and stuff. Also, I'm locked in for this now, I guess. So I say that luck should affect fast friend machines or friend machines in general, but also the fast friend evolution should matter as well. The other thing I just thought of is that luck should affect the rate at which certain things spawn. So, as you can tell, some orbs give different amounts, like the yellow orbs. I feel like the more luck you have, the more yellow orbs appear, you know, or the more luck you have, the more likely you're able to get more from your items. Like, if I pick up a random orb, it should let me get more XP from it. Rings should give me more, like, as a chance base. I think that could help. That's what I just thought of. But a main thing is two of them. I know one of them would be more controversial if they did it, just because some people that grinded for certain skins would be mad about it. But I'll start with the less controversial thing. So I said fast friends, yada yada. The other thing is spinning. I feel like you should, at least a balanced way, is like once a day, you can go on here and click one of these on the free spinner to guarantee that your luck stat affects it. So let's say I start today, I'm like, ooh, I want to do races. Click this. And then boom, once I click this and confirm, it will lock in that for 24 hours my luck affects this stat. Some people they might be able to get 100% of the time. But here's where I'm at, right? I feel like they should make it only for the free spinners. Because if it was legendary, let's be honest, everyone's gonna lock in the game pass and then they're gonna lock in the things that they actually want. And then that game pass is gonna lose value because the spinners are, technically less than the game pass. But the way I would balance the free spins at least is that you have it for 24 hours. Once those 24 hours are up, you have to wait like 3 days. No, I say you have to wait another 24 hours. It'll be on cooldown for 24 hours. And then after that, you have to wait like 2 days before clicking the same slot. So technically, if you want the race ticket like boost, you could do this one day, this next day, and then these two the other 2 days. But if someone wants like red star rings, they get it one day, get a ton of red star rings, but then they can't do it for like another few days. And remember, this doesn't even guarantee it, depending on how luck affects it. I feel like that would be a good system. Legendary Spinner would be broken with it, so that's why I suggested don't have Legendary Spinner for it. But it would lead to more people wanting to specify certain things with their luck. It would lead to people actually wanting the luck chows and everything. The other feature that I think would be more controversial is, well, let luck determine the gotchas. The eggs should the eggs should be affected by luck. It would help it a lot, but I do have you know, a way that people can actually easily not complain about it. Okay. My version is that your luck affects your first one. But after you get your first one, your first, like, if you get one limited, you can no longer have luck affect the limited. So it goes back to being a super rare chance. Everything else still has like a high chance. So you might be able to guarantee like a few, like our most recent ones in the paid eggs, they made it so that there was overclocked Metal Sonic in the paid eggs. I feel like that could be capped at like 5 or 10 skins of it and not one because I feel like if you cap that one, it'd be kind of rude because it's not even a limited skin, it's just a super skin. But the reason I say all this is because then it would make it so that it's easier for some people to actually get it that's not scammers, not scammers, but like the people that farm with like 8 computers or something with 8 alternate accounts going, and then they sell everything in the trading up. Those people are annoying, but the people can probably get like a few of them. Now, of course, they would have to increase the amounts of limiteds, and those limiteds would probably lose value, but they would be in circulation more because number one, people with a lot higher luck are typically not new players. It's typically the people that have either luck dependent builds or stuff. And to get the most amount of luck, you kind of need wisps. Like you need the Crimson Wisp fuse. That's like some of the most luck you can get. And in that situation, the traders that have like multiple accounts aren't going to be able to get it because I say that you cannot have trade locked fast friends. I don't think not fast friends, but like friends. When you trade them, they should make it so that when you trade a friend, you can't like how do I say this? When it's on the 24-hour like lock, you make it so that it's capped. You can't like use the luck from that stat for the gotchas and stuff. I feel like that would be a good way to get around so that normal people can get back to getting normal things. You know, in any case, that is how I would improve luck. Just make it so that the other parts of the games that, feels like it's luck based, yeah, let luck affect luck. That's how I would describe it. Now I'm going to get back to auto running because it kind of goes into like this steps. Step stats, I did just think of something else. I like step stats. I think they should increase it for certain things or just give other friends and like or give a trail the step icon. It's a little bit extra. I mean, if they gave a friend a step icon, it wouldn't even get picked because fast friends would still be better, but they could be a good early game alternative. And characters having steps make no sense because, of course, that means it would only affect one character. What I do think is that I just thought of this now. Step icons should also it increases your character mastery rate, but it should have an effect on auto running. I don't know if they should have this in general, but I feel like auto run should give you double the steps to incentivize people leaving their characters on auto run. I don't know how to explore that. They could have it as a game pass, like a 99 Robux game pass, or they could just have it as like an innate ability of the steps where you get more steps for auto running. So it incentivizes people to auto run. But yeah, I don't think there's any other ways to make steps good. I guess just make a trail and that's pretty much it. Maybe increase the fast run amounts, but it's kind of good as is. Air is good for what it is. It's like good. There's nothing you can really improve about it. Um, Maybe the more air stat you have, the more you get for collectibles underwater, or maybe certain worlds. Like you get more collectibles in those worlds, like No Place or something. But I'm not too sure. Event stat increases the rate of event task completions and currency pickup. Currency pickup is like the doubloons in No Place, or the crystals for Amy in the Third World, or the envelopes for Adventure Shadow. And the rate of event pick task completions is like daily task, like the weekly tasks and stuff. I think event stats should increase. I like how it does this, but I think it also should increase the amount of tickets we get for the pass. It should also act as a multiplier instead of just a plus, because it's kind of useless if you're going to go for something else. Like in Kronos Island, the time trials, it gives you 30 star pieces when you complete them in first. But if you have one event stat, it gives you 31. And I'm assuming if you do have two, it's 32, 33, 34, the higher your event stat. I think events should be multipliers. So having one would be bad, but it would be, long term good if you get two, because you're doubling everything. And if you get three, you're tripling. Now, for stuff like the tickets, it's still going to be like one, two, three, four, five, but still, it's better for everything else in the game, especially like the completion rates. I think also events should, like the event stat should increase the amount you get for certain things, such as, hold on, hold on, I'm struggling here. I think it should dictate how much you get from the challenges. So if you had like a two event stat, you should get 600 tickets, and it would make doing challenges viable instead of auto running. It can also possibly affect like how much you get from something. So maybe if you did a spin with a certain amount of event stat, maybe you get like multiple boosts or something. That would be cool, you know? I think the event stat could be very much like changed to where the actual like events that aren't affected should be affected. Such as like marathon, if you have an event stat, if you do a challenge with event stat on, you're gonna get 20 tickets instead of 10. Incentivizes people to actually get them. Or if you have like +5, you get 50 tickets. Sure, the people that have like all the stuff in the top, like, leaderboards of the game, they're gonna easily get all that stuff and get the characters. But your new players are still gonna have to go through the grind, and incentivizes people actually buying event chows and stuff, or characters with event stats. Um, yeah, I think that's good for event. Let me get him back onto this over here, just for temporary use. Actually, I think he is able to go to level 4, which is good. Speed stat, I think, is good. Maybe have a fast friend that's focused on speed and a higher amount of steps. Like, I don't know, like a race suit, not race suit, but like a racer Sonic fast friend. Maybe something like that. That's the only thing I can think of, though. Maybe more of like the quote unquote common characters, like the Yu Chao or Sanic Trail. Maybe more of those. Johnny's cool. It's cool that you can increase speed, but kind of redundant for the fact that you can already increase your speed stat based off of rebirths. It's just an extra thing. And also, it just says increased speed, but I don't know if it means like it does how the rebirth does by one, or if it actually just multiplies it. And race stat. Race stat is good, though I just feel like there should be some friends. Because there's already race suit chows. So they should have like a 3 times or 2 times multiplier. Some fast friends. There's easily a chance they could do like a race suit Sonic, toy race suit Sonic, and easily have a fast friend that has multiplier. And trails, they can have like a finish line trail where it's like they have a multiplier. I think also, in one of my other videos, how to make racing better, I did say they could reduce where like the limited skins have like a 20 times multiplier or something stupid like that, while the other skins, the exotic has like 10, while the legendary version of the gold race suit has 5. and then everything else has 3. But make it dynamic where the legendaries are 35k tickets, the exotics are 70k, and you can't get the limited unless you trade. And an alternative to the limited would be like a super, like a gold racesuit supersonic or gold racesuit super shadow, but make it like cost 1,000,000 tickets for like a 50 times multiplier. Something like that, a very high multiplier for those skins that actually matter, because limited, I think it's more like super skins should be 15 times multiplier. So it's not as good as the limited skin, but also it does have stats that kind of like, what do you do? What do you choose? The super speed or something? Because do remember that. It would be a super skin that has a limited time, so you'd have to switch it out occasionally. I think that's how they can make for a stat a little better. But that's all I will talk about from that part because these abilities don't really matter, they're character specific. What I will talk about is, before I talk about this stuff, I want to talk about rebirths. Because currently they have the stats as rebirths of these 3: stamina and speed. I like those. I think magnet would be good. Give it a like plus 10 as a max. So cap magnet. Because if they had infinite, it would be a little overpowered. Sure, the cost extremely goes up, but if someone has all the game passes and they have the time to grind, they can get like a magnet to where they can collect the whole map every second, which would kind of break the game. So I feel like a cap of 10 would be good in rebirths for this and make it go up like point 0.1 each time. Luck, I say a good middle ground is to give 5 luck. Actually, no, I say 10 luck is the good middle ground because 20 luck is too much as a base amount of luck. 5 luck feels too low. I feel like 10 luck would be a good rebirth now. I think steps would be a good rebirth thing, but cap it at like 200 or something. It would be cool. Or make a new steps like rebirth counter where, it goes up to like 3 and it goes up by like point 0.1 each time. But the reason it's that way is because it's like a multiplier. So if you have 1.1, it'll be 1.1 times the amount of step like stats you already have. I think that would be cool. I don't really think air needs one, but it could add like an unlimited air stat. That would be cool. Event, I feel like it can have. I feel like it would be good capping this at one event. So make it go up start at 0 and go up point 0.1, and then once it caps, you have a base 1 times event. Which if they mixed it with the event stat that I already talked about, where make it not really a +1 but a ×1, it would be good because then everyone would have a base of 1. And so if they place on a character like, let's say, Burning Blaze that has 10, or my gold race suit Shadow that has 10, then it'll bring it up to 2 times, like it'll bring it up to the 2. And then that means I'll have a 2 times multiplier without needing to have 20 event on 2 separate things. That would be a good way to have it. Speed is already there. Race, I don't really feel like it needs to be in Rebirth, but if they bring it to Rebirth, I think a cap of 2 would be good. Unless they want to bring it to 5 for even evenness, I guess. 3 would be matching characters, and I feel like a 3 on other multipliers would be kind of annoying. I feel like 2 would be a good, like, oh, it's a 2 times multiplier, and you start at like 0, and you gotta go up by point 0.1. It's gonna take a while to get to the 2 times, but still, it's better than nothing. I feel like that would be a good, like, revamp to the Rebirth. Now, I feel like one thing that it should have is they have the Rebirth and they have the stats, but I feel like they should bring back enchants. Because, in case you didn't know, the mechanic before was that you enchanted your chows, 1,000,000 rings per try, and then upon each enchantment, the friend could have up to 1 to 7, like 1 of 7 stats. So these ones. You bring them to enchantment stations in each world, but they didn't have a bonus. and they range from 1 to 5, or V. It's Roman numerals, so it's 5. But if you want to say V, oh well. And it differed because tier 1 was like the lowest, tier 5 was the strongest. And remember, you're rolling for this and this. So it had all these stats, and it basically said, oh, increased power, increased speed, increased experience pickups. It did it back then at this rate. Of course, nowadays it would have to be very much increased if they brought this back. At least for these, if that would be very overpowered for what that is, for a speed one. Magnet is good. See, I told you 10 Magnet is like a good middle piece. And I told you 10 Luck is like a good middle piece. 5 Event would be really good if it was a multiplier, but also you have to remember it's like very rare to get 5 Event. I think a good way to bring this back is bring it back, have it affect fast friends. Make it so that you can re-roll enchantments for like half a. Well, nowadays it would be way more expensive since everyone can get a lot more, and enchants would be very overpowering. So make it so that it's 500 million for the first enchantment on your Chow, but make it so that re-rolls, or I should say friend, uh, 500 million for the first friend, and then the re-rolls on that friend should be like 250 million. And then when you get like a stat you want, so you know, like X, like let's say you want event, make it so that you can do the tier reroll and make it like 1 billion in that case. And make it so that, there's a percentage, like a low percent to get this, but a higher percent to like get three, like, 1, 2, 3, etc. But make luck effective. See, luck comes back. That's the whole reason I made this video in the first place. So basically, you can try to reroll for these, and then of course, like once a day, you can pick like an enchant that you want. So let's say I want like luck. You pick that, and your luck stat effects like increases that amount. So you can probably get 100% if you had a certain amount of luck, but still, it kind of works. You can make it on fast friends and friends, but make fast friends cost 4 times. So if you wanted to re-roll the tier, I said it was 1 billion before for a friend. It'd be 4 billion just to do a fast friend. And it makes sense because everyone wants four fast friends, but of course it'll be expensive. I'm gonna place this on pause real quick. I'm back. Opened OBS. I want to open this guy. Clicked all that he needs. Anyways, what I was saying was that, of course, fast friends, they would be like 4 times the amount. So we said 500 mil to unlock the first enchant. So in that case, it would be 2 billion to unlock the first enchant for a fast friend. And then it would be half of that, so it would be 1 billion for each reroll of these stats. And then it would be 4 billion for re-rolling these stats for a fast friend. So it would be very balanced because, like, I've been playing for a while, and even I just have like 11 trillion, which means if I get unlucky, I can lose like 400 billion real quick. No. Like this, I just got that, which of course, if there was more rings in the future, it wouldn't be that bad because, of course, you can focus on getting a ring extra, which, this enchant could probably get a lot more. Focus on that, get a ring focused character. Uh, Hopefully, there's a new ring friend in the future that's like 1 million rings or so. If you have that and you can place on a fast friend, it would be good. So yeah, that's how I would bring back basically the enchant system because it's a cool system, and I never got a chance to use it. I feel like it would be a good way to benefit those that actually are on top, but then they can sell the stuff, and the economy keeps going. Sure, some of the suggestions I had would ruin the economy, like the increased luck stat, the add race to a ton of other things. They would kind of break the economy, but at the same time, you're bringing in new stuff that could bring the economy. Now there will be a ton of tier 6 fast friends. You can introduce tier 7, tier 8, up to 10. Maybe a 10 fast friend gives 1,000 steps. And with all the other things, people can maximize it even more. I feel like this would just be a good way to bring it to life. Also, I'm pretty sure there's a chance that fast friends didn't even exist pre Sonic Shock. Let's see what the Sonic Shock event was. It was Sonic Speed Simulator Reborn. I see. And this came out in 23, so a lot of people probably didn't get to play this. So yeah, they like revamped a ton of things. Yeah, I mean, they brought Red Rings like to this version and stuff. So I guess they could make it a little bit better, like bring some stuff back pre Sonic Shock, pre Reborn. I feel like they could bring back this enchant system. Of course, make it only for like Chow friends, fast friends, And with fast friends, of course, only make it go off of the enchantment that it has. They could make a unique system where they kind of do like the what they do with the XP rings and power, where they take the best enchant of that stat. So, like, let's say I roll an event, it takes the best event stat from all my chows. That would be a cool thing, but also it would get rid of the grindiness of the uh what is it? The 1 billion reroll to try to get event. You still have that, but then you don't have the 4 billion reroll for these. I feel like it could improve, like, in certain ways. People could tell me how to improve it, but in this scenario, I feel like it works best, like, if they actually brought it back with the improvements I've mentioned. Because, like, the click on something and you get higher luck of that thing for 24 hours, that would be very helpful. And plus, it would keep people in the game, because if they didn't get in that 24 hours, they have to wait 24 hours for the cooldown to go off, and then they have to wait like 3 days for that stat to come back. So they're gonna probably keep playing the game to grind up rings and stuff. It's a good way to keep people onto the game. It's a good way to reward people that play onto the game, and it's a good way to bring a ton of people in. Now, of course, coding all this would probably be annoying, and fast friends were introduced. Interesting. But yeah, basically, I feel like that's basically what I mean. This is how I would improve the stuff throughout the video. The video I made before was like 49 minutes, and this is 38 minutes. So I feel like I did do that faster and without as much repeat. There was some scenarios where I had to pause, like when I was about to talk about luck. I did have to repeat some things, but I feel like that's my main like idea. If you have questions in the comment, like if you have questions, just comment it. Also, like, subscribe. I might make a playlist for these things as well. So who knows? But that being said, that's all for today. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll end you guys off with a little treat. I'll go master this to level 4 mastery. Of course, no stat would help with this. Maybe they added a discount stat in the future. Who knows? But in any case, there's my level 4 super silver. Super silver that I did get from the past. Go watch my other video on that. In any case, hope you guys have a great day, great time, and a great future. Peace.